Right then, welcome back everyone. Today, I want to make a slightly different video and just talk about what the actual flip is going on with films and just the state of cinema in general at the moment. I don't know about you guys, but to me, it just feels like for the last couple of years, films just haven't been the same. Like I was looking back at the previous few years of Oscar-winning films and was just filled with a deep sense of despair. Like when was the last time you heard someone say, "Come on then guys, let's get together tonight, crack open a few beers and watch Nomadland," or "Oh fellas, you know what, I actually really fancy watching Coda tonight." Oh, that's right, that's never happened ever. Now, before you all start verbally assaulting me in the comments and trying to find my home address, of course there are a few obvious exceptions to this that I will go into later, but I think we can all agree that they've been pretty few and far between, especially the big franchises like Marvel, DC, Disney. They've just gone down the absolute shitter. For me, these ones hurt the most because I absolutely love superhero films, but nowadays we're just consistently being given garbage. And so today, I want to take you guys on a journey back to the good old days and try to pinpoint exactly what, where, and why it all went wrong. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let me take you back to the good old days of 2018, the time when you didn't have to remortgage your house to buy a loaf of bread, and the notion of a global pandemic was nothing more than science fiction. Specifically, I want to take you back to the 26th of April, where, if you're like me, you just came out the cinema having watched this. I think I was sat there for a good 5 minutes with my mouth open, just trying to process what the actual fuck I just watched. Infinity War, for me, is the best MCU film by far, but even if you disagree, you can't deny its influence. It was nominated for an Oscar. That cliffhanger is still arguably one of the best out there to this day. The memes, oh my lord, the memes. And last but not least, it set up probably the most successful sequel of all time and gave us that closure that we were all so desperately craving. Kevin Feige really had the world in an absolute chokehold, and everybody was patiently awaiting what the MCU had in store post-Endgame. And then, the unthinkable happened. No! Alright, maybe I'm being slightly overdramatic here, but with the way the world was going, by that I mean away from cinema and towards at-home streaming services, realistically, it was inevitable that we get a series coming out of the MCU. Now don't get me wrong, I thought a couple of them were decent, and I actually really thought WandaVision was excellent. However, I don't think I get too much flack for saying that most of them were shit. Now at this point, the old me would insert a clip of She-Hulk twerking to further illustrate my point here. However, an esteemed commenter of mine has informed me that maybe I slightly overused that clip, so I'm going to be the bigger man and move on. Now I'm not saying that Disney is entirely to blame for the downfall of the MCU, but they almost certainly played a role. More specifically, I believe the issue stems from greed and from the thinking of, well, why should we tell a story in one part and sell one ticket when we can pump out 6 to 9 episodes of a series across 6 to 9 weeks on a platform with a monthly subscription fee? And then of course, you have a story that could and probably should be told in 2 to 2.5 hours that gets diluted to fill the 6 to 9 hours, and then surprise surprise, it's boring as shit. Unfortunately, it does seem like there's no end in sight for these series, so I guess all we can do now is pray for some improvements.
Sit there, eat it up, go play okay, 3, 2, 1.
Regrettably, the Phase 4 and 5 films have fared equally poorly. Now I don't know if that's related to what I was just talking about with all the series, or maybe the writers just all had simultaneous mental breakdowns. I don't know, I'll leave that to you guys to discuss in the comments. What I do know is that we have witnessed some truly sorry sights that I can't quite believe were allowed to be viewed by the public.
Oh yes, that's Bao, got dumplings. Psst, hey Bao.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
However, there has been a couple of beacons of hope shining through the misery, with the brightest of those, of course, being Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, if anyone here has seen any of my videos before, you'll know how much I love this film, and you'll also know how I feel about a certain someone in the film. However, if you've got no idea what I'm talking about, probably best we leave it that way and move on. No Way Home was so popular and so well received for one main reason: its incredible fan service. Everyone went nuts when they found out all the old Spider-Man and their villains were going to be in the film. And so that's why you're all going to be unbelievably shocked when I tell you my next reason is... Boom! That's right. You definitely did not see that one coming at all, did you guys? I think something that's becoming a big issue in the film world is that we're running out of ideas. Every new film recently, especially superhero films, are just rinsing the shit out of bringing old actors back and reusing story ideas. Now I do get it, since No Way Home was such a success, other films just want to capitalise on that. But sometimes it seems that maybe all these callbacks become the focal point at the expense of the film itself. Now don't get me wrong, I am all for these types of films. I'm such a nerd about them, and so I am 100% a part of the problem. It does just feel like nowadays the only way to create a popular film is to piggyback off previous successes.
Cheers, Jeff.
Take the new Flash film for example. Before release, it was being hailed as the best DC film yet, and potentially the best superhero film of all time. But what it turned out to be was just another rehashing of the Flashpoint Paradox story, with Michael Keaton shoehorned in there and absolutely god-awful CGI. Clearly the studio spent the entire CGI budget on Ezra Miller's Bale, rather than the actual film. Haha! God, I hate myself. And then what happened again? Oh yeah, that's right. To absolutely no one's surprise, it tanked at the box office. What about the new Transformers film, Rise of the Beasts? It just finished its cinematic run, and it's officially the lowest grossing live-action Transformers film ever. And how about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? Again, it completely flopped at the box office and was panned by critics no end. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Anyway, moving on, I think the thing that's probably the main culprit for all of this new equals bad, old equals good pain that I'm experiencing is... or as the psychologists call it, Rosie retrospection. I think it's a bit of a shit name, to be honest. What that basically means is that you remember things as much better than they actually were, and I think most likely a lot of that is going on here. I don't know why, but films just don't hit the same as they used to. Take Disney films. We've had absolute gems like Coco, Moana, The Incredibles, Ratatouille, Up, Toy Story. I could go on for hours. But in the recent few years, what have we had? Luca, Turning Red, Encanto. I mean, you can't tell me these films are anywhere close to the ones I just mentioned. I mean, they're just so formulaic. Like, this is the exact recipe for making a Disney film, you ready? Step 1, randomly select a country. Step 2, write a story based on the culture of that country, with the family as the main characters. Step 3, make one of the children of the family go against their parents' wishes and discover something about the family's past. And step 4, sprinkle in a little supernatural element.
Someone cooked here.
Boom, $1 billion right there, give me my paycheck right now. I genuinely can't think of one recent film that doesn't follow that pattern, but if you can, comment it down below and we'll arrange a fight. I know this isn't just the writer's fault, and I also know that Moana and Coco both follow that pattern I just laid out, and I just told you guys how much I love those films. So really, I'm just a massive hater and deserve to step on an upwards facing plug with no shoes on or something. But anyways, you guys know what I'm really trying to say, so let's just move on. Everything I've said so far have only been pieces of a much larger problem. However, there is one final thing that I haven't mentioned yet that I'm sure you're all thinking. The final boss of why films nowadays are shit. There is absolutely nothing that can ruin the chances of a film succeeding better than letting people who don't give a fuck about anything except the bottom line call the shots. I mean, you can't help but think of the DCU in this scenario. It really is just one shit show after another with them. There's just simply too much there to try and cover all in one video. I could easily make a separate one if anyone wanted, but for now, we'll just go over the main things. Of course, the biggest one was the Snyderverse Justice League palaver. I mean, what were WB actually smoking when they went, oh yeah, so I think they're going to go with the film that doesn't make sense, has horrendous dialogue, and is directed by the guy who doesn't give a shit about the characters and also abuses his co-workers. And don't even get me started on Henry Cavill. You just have to imagine the WB board meetings when something like this. Sir, the reviews are in. Everyone loves Henry Cavill as Superman. He's an absolute fan favourite and is massively boosting sales on any project he's in. We're planning to make a new standalone Superman film with him at the forefront and really give the fans what they want. What do you think? No. Here's what we're going to do. First, we fire him. Then, we announce his return to the role and tease him in a post-credit scene with The Rock. And then, we fire him again. My God, that's genius. I mean, at these times, you really have to consider what I am doing with my life currently. Fuck me. And with that, we've reached the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it and that I haven't destroyed all your hope for the future of film. Because actually, it's not all bad. We've still got excellent films coming out all the time, like Oppenheimer and Dune, so not all hope is lost. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below on anything I've said, so leave a comment telling me if you agree or that you think I'm an idiot. And once you've done that, why not check out this other video I made, where I watched every single video game film adaptation.